welcome everyone, and at this time I would like to welcome any visitors in addition to our Waterford staff. We have some honorees here tonight, and they'll be introduced in just a little bit. I don't want to miss anyone. Any special visitors that would like to be acknowledged? All right. Is there anyone here who would like to make public comment? Yes. Just tell us who you are.
Yeah. My name is Alistair Eglin, and my address is 55 Scottstown Road, so send any nasty letters to that address. But, dear Waterford Board of Education, the town of Waterford has never had a student representative on the Board of Education, even though the board's decisions matter most to students. The undersigned believe that that should change, and I have over 200 student signatures below. A student representative would bring a unique perspective to the Board of Education and would contribute greatly to making the right decisions for the school system. The Board of Education's goal is to serve the students. Without Waterford students, the board would not exist. So why is there no student representation on the Board of Education? The undersigned believe that a student representative should be in place on Waterford Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda. Oh, is there anyone else for public comment? Yes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Albie Harris, and I've been interning here for a year in Waterford Public Schools with Superintendent Giard. And I just wanted to thank him and the board, all the administration, for letting me participate in your wonderful school district. It's been my pleasure. I've learned a tremendous. I've worked in a number of districts around the state. And as I always say, it's always sunny in Waterford. So I just wanted to thank everyone and appreciate you letting me come into your district, participating in a variety of events, meetings, getting to know people. And it's really been a wonderful experience for me, and I've learned a lot. So I just wanted to thank all of you, especially the Superintendent.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? And I will recognize another visitor who just snuck in the side door, Representative Kathleen McCarty. Welcome.
Not to interrupt anything, I couldn't get in. So the young lady was with me, the doors were locked.
That's how we keep the numbers down. At this time, we'll move on to special recognition of the Waterford Public School retirees for the 2023 school year.
We're going to start with Great Neck, and I'll call up Principal Billy Shea.
Welcome. We're here to honor Mrs. Brittle, Ms. Johnson, and Jack this evening. So Pam's retiring after 6 years of service at Waterford Public Schools. So thank you so much for joining us and letting us honor you in your years of service. I've had the privilege of witnessing firsthand the impact that Mrs. Brittle has had on her school community, both staff and students alike. She's been a true role model, embodying kindness, creativity, patience, empathy, and a wonderful sense of humor that really keeps us all smiling. Pam's commitment to education, her compassion and dedication has touched the hearts of so many. She has shown our young learners the importance of respect, teamwork, and perseverance. She's encouraged curiosity and encouraged discovery for each of the kindergarten students that were lucky enough to call Mrs. Brittle's classroom home. Through her gentle guidance and genuine care, Pam has not only prepared our students for academic success, but also for a lifetime of love of learning and for growth. The impact of Pam's dedication extends beyond the walls of the classroom, however. She has formed strong connections with colleagues and parents, building a bridge of trust and open communication that has strengthened our school community at Great Neck. Her willingness to go the extra mile, whether attending after-school events, supporting extracurricular activities, or offering guidance to families in need, has really exemplified her exceptional character, and that was a true strike. Pam, you've made a difference in the lives of countless children, molding them into confident, capable individuals ready to embrace the world with open arms. So I'm grateful for the support that you've always extended to me and for your friendship. So as you open the door to the next chapter, please know that we wish you an abundance of joy, good health, and fulfillment. You will be missed. Congratulations on your retirement. Congratulations.
I'm standing here counting, saying it's 7.
Hey, congratulations.
It was worth it.
I know Representative McCarty has something for the General Assembly.
Thank you. And my name is, I didn't know whether you wanted me to come up with all these right now, but I just wanted to also extend my sincerest congratulations to you for all of the work you do for the Waterford schools. And I know the state recognizes very much the work of the teachers, so we wanted to offer you this official citation. I could read one if you'd like, because they're similar, and then I could, thanks, Pat. So I will just read this one, Pam, and it says that this is an official citation introduced by myself and Senator Marks for you. It is signed by the entire leadership of the membership, and it says, for your many years of dedicated service and commitment as an educator in Waterford Public Schools, you have enriched the lives of countless students who have been fortunate enough to be in your classroom. Your outstanding contributions will be remembered for years to come. Congratulations on this honorable recognition of a job well done in your educational career. Public, and it's given with the best wishes by the entire Assembly, signed by the Speaker of the House, and signed by Martin Looney, President Pro Tem, and the Secretary of State, Stephanie Thomas. So they're all similar. You don't have to listen to me again. But we wanted to wish you the very, very best in all your next future endeavors. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you.
At this time, we'll call up Principal Joe Macrino from Oswegatchie.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight we celebrate a very cool, very awesome, very humble professional, Mr. Wayne Shadler, who has been in our district for 34 years. And he's been an educator at Fishers Island even more than that. So he is leaving at the top of his game. I will say leaving, passing the baton at the top of his game. And you know our doors are always open to you, Wayne. Wayne is the consummate professional. Wayne's room has the magical ability of turning a gang of rascals into a chorus of angels. And he does it without blinking an eye. I have never seen this man stressed. He takes time in between lessons and classes to exercise in the hall. So I know that your retirement is going to be a very exciting one, and I wish you the best. Wayne has pursued equity before it was an initiative. He just does it because he's a good person, and he realizes that he has a diverse group of learners in front of him, a diverse group of families, and he has the common sense and the intelligence to think about the history of the music that we're presenting, the lyrics and what they mean within the history of our country. And I've told you this before, and you brought up your retirement, I trust you 100%. That is a classroom that never cracks. Everything goes well in there. You might not agree, but I go by there sometimes for my therapy. So that's a very typical day. Wayne is smiling. He has 20 kids playing the ukulele. They're playing it well. The chorus sounds good, and everything worked out. You're leaving us with big shoes to fill. He penned his own retirement song called Wayne Who, and we laughed about it, but we know your influence on our school, on the Waterford Music Program, will ripple for generations to come. So we're going to know who Wayne is for a very long time. We're going to miss you. We want you to come back and say hello, but enjoy your time. It's well deserved. We love you, Wayne.
Wayne, I also have an official citation. I won't go through reading it all again, it's very similar, but I thank you so much for 34 years, and I think Plato said that music was the window to the soul, so thank you for all that great work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Swardia from Quaker Hill.
All right. So, I get the honor of speaking about Sue Skokobo. So she had an amazing career at Quaker Hill School. She's truly going out on top of her game as well. After 33 years in education in Kansas, Wisconsin, and the last 22 here in Waterford. Sue's professional, positive, and always excited to share student successes. She's an expert in the area of early literacy and a valued leader in our building. She's a passionate advocate for her kids, and if her kids are not making the progress they should be making, she sounds the alarm to get them the support they need. And skip the other bits from your retirement party.
That's probably just as well.
I'll close with an attempt to quantify Sue's impact during her career. After reflecting on it, it's almost immeasurable. So everybody in the room knows the statistics. If a student is not a proficient reader by the end of 3rd grade, the chances they drop out of high school, become incarcerated, or live in poverty jumps astronomically. Literally lives depended on the work that Sue did with those kids in those rooms for all those years. She's helped tens of thousands of children over 3 decades across multiple states go from at-risk to a life of hope and success. So with that, I'd like to wish Sue happiness and health in her retirement, and come on down.
It's my pleasure to give you this official citation from the state of Connecticut. Wish you the very best in your future endeavors. And thank you, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Principal Jim Sachs from Clark Lane Middle School.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to speak for separate people this evening, all who have unique roles at Clark Lane, all who are consummate professionals. First, I'd like to talk about Laurel Eddings. What people don't know about Laurel is she had a full career in the Navy prior to coming to Clark Lane, in which she worked on early computers and security technology, and she told me all about this year when together we were monitoring the boys' basketball team often after school. And she's just a wonderful person who gets to know students and their disabilities, whether those are severe disabilities or subtle. She gets to know them quickly. She's always eager to take her assignments and assist those students, and I can count on her 100% every single day. And I'm going to really miss you all once you come up.
Thank you very much. I also have the pleasure to offer you this official citation. And good luck to you in the future. Thank you.
I'd also like to speak about Ed Coulombe, a great man who is really dedicated to the Waterford schools. This year especially, our teachers have identified that the school is super clean, organized, and they're very happy with the custodial service. And Ed is part of that, so I wish him the best luck in the future. So Mrs. DeLay retired mid-year. She cannot be here this evening. I cannot tell you what an amazing teacher Kristen is. Anytime I was in her classroom, she was incredibly well prepared. She left me riveted in all of the science concepts she was teaching students. I spent many hours with her when she was doing her administrative internship. She was by far my best administrative internship. She had a great eye for detail. She ran our NAEP test, and she impressed me day in and day out. And we greatly miss her at Clark Lane, so I congratulate her on her retirement. And finally, Beth Lewis, our library assistant. She's been an assistant for 22 years. She's been at Clark Lane since I've been there. And Beth is just a wonderful person who has an incredible love of learning. I have 2 quick things to say. One is that I was at a bar mitzvah this weekend, and in the bar mitzvah speech of the young man who was being bar mitzvahed, he thanked Mrs. Lewis for all the conversations about books that she had with him during his time at Clark Lane, which I thought was a real honor to hear in the audience. And Beth was incredibly helpful during the first few months of COVID and also throughout the hybrid year. There wasn't as much use for the library, but Beth would do anything we asked her to do in terms of distributing materials, helping students, tutoring, just about anything. And she would be greatly missed, and she's greatly loved at Clark Lane. Congratulations, Beth.
I call on Principal Kirk Samuelson.
Good evening. How's everyone? Congratulations to all the retirees. I'm very jealous. My students, good to see you guys. Unfortunately, the two retirees at Waterford High School aren't able to join us tonight, but I'd like to take a moment to first thank Shelley Kincasia for her dedicated service as an art teacher for 37 years, 29 of those years in Waterford Public Schools. Prior to coming to join our team at the high school, she served as an art teacher as well as a student council co-advisor at Clark Lane Middle School, and then here at the high school, obviously an art teacher and the advisor of the National Art Honor Society. Perhaps what impresses me most about Shelley is that she has a huge heart. That's just something that always stood out. She truly chose this profession for the love of her kids, hence why she thrived for 37 years as a teacher. She just always took pride in creating a very welcoming, safe, and accepting environment for all of her students, and everything she did truly was in her students' best interest, and that's something that I will certainly miss. And I hope that she can take peace knowing that she has passed on her passion for art and instilled that in her students over the years. So thank you, Shelley. Sorry she can't be here tonight. So thank you for the service. Next, I'd like to thank Liz Smith for her 7 years of dedicated service to our students and staff. Liz was one of our high school security guards. She brought a wealth of knowledge and experience in all of her years served in law enforcement and security prior to coming to Waterford High School. She certainly proved to be an asset to our school safety team. And one thing that she took a great deal of pride in was keeping our school campus very safe for our students, and she could always be counted on in any situation, especially those that involved emergencies. So thank you, Liz, for your years of service, and appreciate all that you did, and wish you the best in retirement.
Thank you, Kirk. I'll speak briefly about Kim Bates, who also could not be here this evening. Kim had a very successful 30-year years of service here in the Waterford Public Schools, most recently in the area of math, serving both as a math coach and most recently as a math intervention teacher. If you know anything about either one of those roles, whether you're educating adults and working with adults or kids, the impact ripples out. Is very much along the same lines that Krista Scordia talked about, the impact that Sue Scopero had in the area of literacy. The same can be said of Kim and the impact. We know how challenging math was during the pandemic. I think it's one of the more tougher subjects to convey over Zoom in kids remotely. And we saw the impact of that in the last couple of years, last year or so. Since that time, Kim's work in the area of math intervention, really getting kids back up to speed post-pandemic has been instrumental. We wish Kim well in retirement.
Thank you. I did neglect to mention at the beginning that Chris Jones, one of our board members, is on the phone. Aren't you, Chris?
Hello.
Okay. And congratulations to all of our retirees. One brief note before the retirees probably want to run out the door. I was able to attend the graduation promotion ceremonies along with a few of our board members, and every one of them was first class. They were well planned, they were appropriate, the kids behaved beautifully, and just so proud to be a part of that, but everyone was phenomenal, so thank you for that. I know it takes a lot of hard work to get those to come off and look easy. I know they're not. So again, congratulations to the retirees. We'll give you a minute to run if you'd like to.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving on to the consent agenda, we have included in that consent agenda the minutes from the May 18th regular meeting, the monthly expenditure report, and food service financial report. Do you have a motion?
I move that the Waterford Board of Education approves the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the May 18, 2023 regular meeting, the monthly expenditure report for May 2023, and the food services financial report for May 2023.
Have a second? Second. All, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Item number 4 is reading and review of correspondence. I have a thank you note from Carolyn Whitakers and family on their recent loss, and a letter to the Board of Finance. I think that's from the Board of Finance. No, it's to the Board of Finance regarding the upcoming teacher negotiations. Do you have anything else?
Nothing else to report.
And moving on to the superintendent's report.
Sure. I will try to be brief because there's many important things on tonight's agenda, but we did have a successful close to the school year, as the chair pointed out. I want to thank all of our staff for organizing all of our end-of-year activities, traditions, events that go on. In addition to just promotion and graduation, there are many award assemblies that go on, many end-of-the-year events, concerts, and of the such. And again, I commend all of you for your hard work in making those memories for our kids and our families. We are in summer mode already, meaning we have curriculum writing going on this week. Summer cleaning has started. We're working with the town on Camp Dash. Summer Academy will launch here right after July 1st, and we are certainly in hiring mode. To highlight a couple of things that took place around the district this month, I want to commend Waterford High School on several award ceremonies, including underclassmen awards. Approximately 100 awards were handed out to students in grades 9 through 11. Senior Scholarship and Awards Night recognized 234 different awards, totaling over $114,000, so quite the successful night. Hopefully a new tradition started by Waterford High School this year was called Senior Graduation Walk in our elementary schools. Seniors dressed in their caps and gowns and visited all 3 elementary schools in the district and walked the hallways while being cheered on by students and staff. Served twofold. It was a chance for them to go back to where they started here in the Waterford Public Schools, and also serve as role models to our younger students on something to aspire to. So great new tradition coming out of Waterford High School. Thompson Awards concert was held. That was the last music concert of the year for Waterford High School. Many ensembles performed, and again, students received various music awards for their dedication and commitment throughout the year. There was Senior Gallery Night. This was an amazing and personalized art display that was held in conjunction with the music concert. This event gave senior artists a chance to showcase their work to each other and the community. If you remember back this time a year ago, I remarked to the board that Waterford High received a Perkins supplemental grant of about $50,000 that enabled us to buy a manufacturing machine. Well, another grant was submitted this spring, and Waterford High School is receiving just shy of $50,000. Another Perkins supplemental grant. These are not things that we have to apply for. This was spearheaded by CTE teacher Mike Bono, and that will go to support various endeavors within the CTE department, specifically, I believe, in the area of design, like fabric design and whatnot. So we look forward to that. Another happening around other happenings, Clark Lane Walkathon was held. You may have seen an article in the paper about that on May 26th. The entire student body raised money for various charities totaling over $42,000, which I think is a record by like 10,000.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's quite impressive. And again, those were distributed to local charities here in Eastern Connecticut. Clark Lane held Smarts Night on May 24th. Had the opportunity to swing by that. About 300 people had the opportunity to see all things Clark Lane, specifically in the area of activities, clubs, athletics, and non-port opportunities. Many community partners, Waterford Police Department, Youth and Family Services, PTOs, UCFS were also there. Another Clark Lane activity was the Students of Distinction Awards ceremony that was held last week. About 25 grade 8 students received awards such as Most Improved, Leadership Awards, School Spirit, and other important marks of character. All students received a certificate and their parents enjoyed the ceremony. Craig and I had an opportunity to swing by that, and it's always one of the highlights of our spring. Out of the elementaries, one quick note about a grade 4 student at Great Neck, Catherine Digan, submitted as part of the Yukon Letters About Literature contest. She was one of 13 students in grades 4 to 6 recognized throughout the state. There were 849 submissions, and she was one of 13 recognized with this endeavor, Yukon Letters About Literature. So a great thing for her and for the district. And I'll just close with a thank you to all of our staff and the Board of Education on a successful year here in the Waterford Public Schools. It was certainly a lot more fun than the last two for staff and students. And just wishing everybody a safe, happy, and fun summer. Do the things that you enjoy, and kiddos, read, because reading is really important. So I will close there.
Thank you.
Unless there's questions.
Next are committee and liaison reports. First are any reports from Board of Ed committees. I know we just had a class size, Marsha.
Ad hoc class size met at 5 o'clock today, and we heard a presentation from our one representative who responded to our request for demographic studies. And he showed us the breakdown of how he goes through it, and we are recommending that the board go ahead and do that.
Right, at a previous meeting, it was agreed that the board would move forward with the successful candidate. Are there any other liaison committee reports? Kathleen?
On the 14th, we had the Waterford Youth and Family Services meeting, and there will be a recognition or a celebration for Jody Nazarjak on July 8th, which is a Saturday morning at 9:30 at the Waterford softball field, Waterford High School softball field. So all are welcome, to come and take part. It would be beautiful. So,
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Are there any liaison members out there to the Board of Ed that think so? Great, thank you. Moving on to new business is discussion and possible action on the proposed candidate for the position of Special Services Supervisor. I'd like a motion, and then we will have a few minutes just to discuss.
Can I use my place? Oh, in the executive session?
Well, you can read mine.
Okay. I recommend that the Waterford Board of Education approves Wendy McCabe as a Special Services Supervisor effective
July 1st.
July 1st.
So may I have a second? Okay. And Tom, did you want to?
Sure. Let me talk a little bit about the process, and then I'll talk a little bit about our recommended candidate that there's a motion and a second for. Everybody knows we run extensive and exhaustive processes here in Waterford. We had 24 applicants that submitted applications, complete applications. There were various committees, including a screening committee comprised of central office. There was a broad stakeholder committee of 15 or 16 people from across the district, including related service and special ed staff, 3 Board of Ed members. Thank you, Mindy, Marsha, and Pat for serving on that. And obviously administrative representatives. Candidates were then moved on to an interview and a performance task with building and central office administration. And the successful finalists then did another round with central office, which included Director Gino Mygonik, Assistant Superintendent Craig Powers, and myself. And if that wasn't enough, the candidate was then forwarded on to the Board of Education earlier this week for an interview and executive session. So that's a little bit about the process. Let me tell you about the who. The who is Wendy McCabe, who has worked here in the Waterford Public Schools since 2001. Wendy brings a multitude of professional experiences in education and special services to this new position in Waterford. She holds a 6th year in educational leadership from Southern Connecticut State University, a master's in curriculum and instructional technology from Framingham State College, and a Bachelor of Science degree in special education from Fitchburg State College. Wendy McCabe has recently served as a special education teacher at Great Neck Elementary School in Waterford. She has worked for the Waterford Public Schools since 2001 in a variety of roles. She has served as a teaching assistant principal at Great Neck since 2021. Prior to coming to Waterford in 2001, she was a special education teacher in Massachusetts, in Methuen. I'm not from Massachusetts. And Wayland, working with primarily secondary special education students. She has also taught in higher education at Framingham State College. She was in this year's cohort of the Waterford Teacher Leadership Academy and was a Fund for Teachers Fellowship grant recipient in 2019. She has been accepted into the UConn, Connecticut State Department of Education, Connecticut Aspiring Special Ed Leaders Academy for the 23-24 school year, an opportunity that will only enhance her already strong skill set. Colleagues and supervisors in Waterford remarked that Wendy is a thoughtful, enthusiastic, and knowledgeable educator. She is able to provide purposeful, job-embedded professional development to staff based on her extensive training and knowledge about special education. She ensures that everyone has a voice and is an integral part of any decision-making process. Colleagues are willing to follow her lead because she is a hands-on leader, and her work in Waterford has impacted professional learning of dozens of teachers, related service providers, paraprofessionals, and administrators. On behalf of the multiple levels of search committees, I am confident that she will be a great addition to the staff, students, and families of the Waterford Public Schools, and I am looking forward to working with her in this new role.
Thank you. Anyone else wants to say? Right now, we have a motion on the floor, so we'll move to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? It passes. Congratulations.
I'm very excited to start this new position.
That's
I'm gonna
okay.
hand it back to you, Craig. I want to thank everyone on the committee, Tom, Craig, Gina, all the Board of Ed, all of the administrators. It was quite the process, and I learned a lot throughout the process, and I thank all of you. I am looking forward to strengthening our already excellent programs, and I really think that I can work to be the catalyst to bring some cohesion amongst the great things that we're doing at all the different schools and bring the district together in special education. Thank you.
And to your credit, you didn't just run right out the door now.
I was hoping I wasn't one of the retirees.
Moving on to the next item is a discussion of possible action on the agreement between the Waterford Emergency Management Department and the Waterford Board of Ed for emergency access to school surveillance cameras. I have a motion.
I move that the Waterford Board of Education approves the agreement between the Waterford Emergency Management Department and the Waterford Board of Education for emergency access to school surveillance as presented and authorizes the superintendent to sign said agreement.
Have a second? A discussion?
Yeah, just a brief overview. You may recall we signed a very similar agreement with Waterford Police Department probably about 4 or 5 years ago. The new wave of cameras currently in Great Neck and Quaker Hill, and there's a few at Waterford High School, enable first responders to see, access those security cameras in the case of an emergency. What this MOU does is memorializes that they shall only access those cameras in the cases of an emergency or unless otherwise authorized by me or a designee. It just narrows the scope of what those should be used for, whether it be a dispatcher or a first responder upon arriving at the building. This is obviously vetted through legal and such, and is fairly straightforward.
I just have one question, because in the introduction, it talks about the access to school surveillance cameras in the event of an emergency. And as I understand it, we need to fix and update some of our cameras and our cell phone access into the buildings. I understand there is something in the works for that. Tom, perhaps you can give us some idea of where we stand and how good our cameras are actually working.
I don't know that that's germane to this agenda item. I'm happy to answer it if the chair wants me to, but I don't know that it's germane to this particular agenda item. I'll say generally, we have working security cameras, but there is a move to update those as our schools age. Our oldest school is 15 plus years old, and our youngest school is about a decade old. So those things do need to be updated and should be updated through a project in the coming months.
In the coming months, okay,
Well,
that's
at
what I was
least
looking for.
approved in the coming months. It's going to take much longer than that.
But as you know from it is moving along,
Okay.
so have that assurance.
And then I think there's a typo in number 2.
Okay.
The second to the last line.
Okay.
Any such access by department shall be only be, I think you got a little typo there.
All right, we will look at that and fix it if it needs to be. Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions? We have a motion on the floor and a second. May I have a vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No abstentions, so the motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the naming of Waterford High School softball field in honor of Jody Nazarchek. We have a petition that's been verified by the town clerk, Dave Campo, from Mr. Jimmy Anderson with more than 100 names. And we will be taking that under advisement and then following the process, which would be to, what would it be? That we can move, because Jody is a non-employee, so we would be moving to the policy committee, and we would discuss the possible regulation and how to address that. And that would move on over the next couple of months to hopefully fruition. Did I miss anything on that?
No, absolutely, no, you're correct.
Let's see, the next item is discussion and possible action on the adjustment to the 23-24 school calendar.
I move that the Waterford Board of Education approves the revised 2023-24 school calendar as presented.
Second. Any
A little
discussion?
background, I had to give a little background for the board. I've been notified by the registrar of voters that there's a high likelihood of a presidential primary next April 30th, 2024. That's typically been, April 30th would normally be a school day. It's a Tuesday in April. Seeing as our elementaries are used as polling places, what this calendar suggests is a swap of the traditional March PD day becoming a regular school day and April 30th becoming the spring PD day. So it's essentially just swapping those 2 days.
Any questions or discussion? All right, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Second? No abstentions, so the motion passes. Next item on the agenda is a discussion on elementary class sizes and staffing update for the 23-24 school year.
Sure, as has become tradition here in the spring, I wanted to bring forth some class size information to the board to see if I can receive some direction from the board if the numbers hold true over the summer months to address any hot spots. What you have here are actual enrollments that we know of right today at the various grade levels across the district. I highlighted kindergarten at Great Neck. Currently, in our budget book is 3 sections, meaning 3 teachers. Currently, we have 72 enrolled students for grade K. The other area I want to call your attention to is Quaker Hill Kindergarten. Currently budgeted 3 teachers and total enrollment of 61. I know in the past, the board likes to look at these numbers, especially when they reach certain numbers, or at least what might be a cause for discussion. So that's where we see, obviously this is 2 FTEs that are not budgeted in our budget book, and we would need to work on that, a fiscal plan to address that in the coming year. But I wanted to bring that to the board's attention, and at least proceed however the chair wishes to proceed. But if these were 2 areas the board thought should be addressed, I'd be looking for some direction and authority to do so this summer.
What is the contract recommended class size?
25.
Is there a range, or
No,
it's
I
25?
believe it says,
kindergarten?
24 in kindergarten is too much.
A lot.
It might be shape small, but that's too much. That needs to be.
And these numbers typically go up because more people move into town?
yeah, I mean, they do ebb and flow. You'll have a week where one might move out at a particular grade level, and then you get 3 registrations later, and then the next week you might, so they typically, experience-wise, have trended up as the summer wears on, not necessarily down. But those are 2 areas that I thought I definitely wanted to make you aware of, and make sure that you were comfortable with me, if those numbers hold true for another couple of weeks, to begin to address those.
I mean, even when you look at the 324s, and you worry about more people moving in, but you'd have to lose 9 kids from there, and you'd still be at 21 each, and the chances of
Correct.
9 moving out and no one moving in are pretty slim.
I would agree. I think Great Neck is a
No-brainer.
And then I would look for a little guidance on your thoughts around Quaker Hill K, which currently sit at 2020 and 21. Obviously, a 4th section there would drop those to roughly 15s. A little bit on the lower side, but again, we execute what the board wishes. Not to pawn this off on you, but looking for some direction on if these numbers at Quaker Hill hold true at 2020 and 21, how would you like me to handle that?
I think that one needs to be looked at as well. I mean, it's easy to say 15 is small, but having been in a kindergarten for a long time, 15 when you're in there is not small.
And how do the certifications run? Do you only have a kindergarten certification?
Well, that's a great question, and it's a little complicated. So, for a long time, it was a K-6 certification. It was
Right,
originally
okay.
K-8, then went to K-6. In the state's infinite wisdom, they changed the newer certifications to 1 through 5, and then a separate certification for early childhood. There's some thought that that's gonna bounce back and be back expanded to K-6. I'm not worried about filling those. We will have applicants for kindergarten vacancies.
Well, my question would be, if the numbers don't go up and we hire 2 people, can we use them somewhere else? Or is it only kindergarten?
Yeah,
And then-
it's a high likelihood where we would be hiring people that would be only teaching at the kindergarten level. Again, I don't think those are gonna go down. Again, I think the chair brings up a great point about Great Neck. The likelihood of that going significantly down is probably not strong to get to a point where those numbers would be tolerable. We're gonna keep an eye on Quaker Hill over the next week or 2. If that holds steady at 61, I'm hearing at least consensus to address that.
I think 24, even 21 is pushing it in a kindergarten setting. I just hope we have the room, the physical room to house them. And also, I think the sooner we get going on hiring people, the better off we are as a district. widen our pool of candidates.
Agreed. Agreed. All right, we'll move forward. Thank you.
See, our next item is discussion and possible action on the fiscal year 24 budget.
I recommend that, move that the Waterford Board of Education approves the final line item FY 24 budget as presented.
Second. Any discussion?
Yeah, just brief background. You'll recall from the budgetary process, Board of Finance reduced our budget by $500,000, essentially pulling out, quote, the textbook money. And then RTM at our May budget hearing reduced our budget by $536,000 and suggested we seek a special appropriation, which we have, and actually Mr. Mancini will be going down to that meeting in about 10 minutes. What these budget documents reflect here are the backing out of the 500 and the 536 and the ultimate final FY 24 budget by line item.
I have a question on the HVAC repair. Where, was that at Clark Lane or?
Yeah, so that was, a state law was passed last spring, a year ago, that mandates comprehensive HVAC testing in every school in the state of Connecticut every 5 years. So on a 5-year cycle. I haven't verified it, but a Board of Finance member found that that legislation has been delayed, which is why the RTM did not necessarily, Board of Finance did not fund that particular request as part of the special appropriation, which is why we're backing it out of our budget.
But is it just at Clark Lane or is it
No,
school-wide?
across the district, every school.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
so, with air quality issues and things like that, don't you think we should have it tested?
So, the legislation's really designed for older buildings. One of the things that I personally became to realize during COVID, when the state put in some guidelines around air filtration and filtering and things of that nature, is our current air filtration exceeds what is expected of schools and actually approaches hospital standards. On top of that, we have newer buildings with newer building management system, which is the electronic system that controls the intake of outside air and inside air. On top of that, we have CO2 monitors in all of our buildings. And we do testing, other testing throughout the year. I'm not concerned, and doing that next year, and then you're gonna have to do it the following year to comply with the legislation anyways. You don't get a pass if we do it next year. You're gonna have to still do it the following.
It wouldn't be good for 5 years?
No.
Okay. All right, and my other question is, how did we arrive at the electricity for all of our schools?
That is the lease payment for for that construction project that we did to replace all the lights and all the hoods and the transformers in the buildings. So it's a specified dollar amount on each of our bills.
Can you speak up a little? I can't hear that, I'm sorry.
Sure, the electricity line item adjustments reflect the reduction in the energy efficiency project equipment costs for each of the buildings. We expect tonight, per an RTM meeting, that our request for a special appropriation to pay for that will be passed, hence the reduction in these lines.
Thanks.
Are there any questions from the board? No discussion? All right, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone abstain or object? Motion passes. What everyone out there's been waiting for. We'll be moving into executive session, so I'll need a motion.
I move the Waterford Board of Education moves to executive session at 6:50 p.m. and invites Mr. Giard, Ms. Thurgood, and Mr. Mancini for the purpose of discussion concerning the agreement between the Waterford Board of Education and the Waterford Board of Education Food Services Employees Union, July 1, 2022 to July 30th, 2025.
Second.
Second.
So
we'll be moving into executive session.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a great one.
How'd everything go?
We have to go in and out of executive session.
What's that?
We have to go in and out. That's
Yeah.
By the way, we're gonna miss your face.
I'm gonna miss being here. It's been an awesome year.
You were the one constant there.
It's like, where's Alfie?
We're back in public session.
So we have a motion on the floor and a second. We finished our discussion. So all in favor of?
Do we, I'm
No,
sorry,
I
I
missed-
missed, I missed it. Do we have a
Oh, we
motion?
don't have a motion on the floor.
We
Sorry.
went, only the motion to go into executive session.
Okay,
Would you
I'm
like a
sorry.
motion?
No, we're going down to, let me get there. You're right.
Would you like a motion?
Yes, I'd like a motion.
I move that the Waterford Board of Education ratifies and approves the agreement between the Waterford Board of Education and the Waterford Board of Ed Food Service Employees Union, July 1, 2022 to July 30th, 2025.
June 30th, I
Oh,
believe.
excuse me.
Second?
It's June 30th.
Join,
Yeah.
second.
Any discussion? Any further questions?
Can I just make one comment, Madam
Sure.
Chair? I just want to thank the Food Service Union for amicable and productive negotiations and discussions. We appreciate all that this bargaining group does for our kids and feeding our kids each and every day, especially during the pandemic where it was a lot of to-go meals. Your efforts do not go unrecognized, and again, thank you for productive discussions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, now we're ready to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And no abstentions. Thank you. Passes. All right, we're going to be looking for a motion now to move back into executive session.
I recommend that, though, I move that the Waterford Board of Education moves to executive session at 6:57. And invite Mr. Giard for the purpose of discussion concerning the superintendent's contract.
Employment.
What do you, what do you think for the date? Concerning the superintendent's contract of
Employment.
employment.
It was so important. On separate page.
Sorry.
Second, yep.
Would you have got that?
We have a second?
We do.
Yep.
All right, we're good.
Do you need to vote on that motion?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And no abstentions?
Thanks, Nancy.
It's like sticking on the newspaper, you know, they split a word in half and put it on a different page.